Hey guys, so in this video let's discuss Umbra. And I'm not talking about Excalibur Umbra, I'm just talking about Umbra in general. So why make this video when other people have covered Umbra already? It's because I'm not just going to explain to you lore, I'm going to also speculate what could be and what might be. So for those of you that don't memorize every drop of lore, or maybe you didn't know every drop of lore but you want to, so Umbra are basically humans that undergo some kind of biological infusion, and it's kind of like nanotech. So it's kind of like the infested, which is like, what's the word, technocyte, I think it's what it's called. You're infused with this and it alters your body, and it turns your physical biology into like tech, like you're part tech, part biology. Like maybe your skin gets rubbery and your bones get metallic. Like this is pretty much what goes on. Your organs aren't the same. This is why when LV dissects warframes, he's like, I don't really understand how this is working. This shouldn't be, you're not a person, this is not a human. This is basically what he's implying. And in case you don't remember or you didn't know, the Oregon once did this to try to make a weapon against the sentience in the past. This is why the creation of Umbra first came into existence. However, there's a bit more to this than just that, because they describe it as kind of like you have to have a defiant soul in order to be Umbra, at least unless I'm mistaken, that's what I got from it. But psychologically speaking, what they're trying to imply here is, if you know Enneagram, they're basically saying if you're Enneagram 8, which is defiant soul, then you can be an Umbra if you undergo this infusion. If you don't, you become a hollow golem. You're just an empty shell. You're a puppet. There's just nothing in there because you surrendered, you submitted to the technocyte. But if you're Enneagram 8, psychologically speaking, then your soul is so defiant that you would rebel, you would fight into the dying of the light no matter what, because that's what Enneagram 8s are like. You'll never give up, you'll never surrender under any circumstance, you will fight tooth and nail. Even if you have nothing left, you will fight. This is what an Enneagram 8 is. So I know a lot of people may think that I waste time giving examples, but it's because I want everybody to understand what I'm trying to say completely and utterly. So my example is, basically I'm Enneagram 8, I'm a type of Enneagram 8, and in the past, this is one dumb thing I did to explain what an 8 is like. I was one of the top players in the past for a specific game. You know, I don't really care about credit and stuff like that, but because I had the title where I was like the 8th top player in the game at the moment, I didn't want to actually play anymore because none of my friends played. They stopped playing. I just surpassed them and left them behind, and then nobody wanted to play anymore. Even my brother didn't want to play anymore. I was basically playing by myself. It was really boring. I was playing with some of the top people in the game, but we weren't really friends. We were just working together to maintain our title, to maintain our rank. But what I'm trying to say is, I didn't want to play anymore. So every day I was basically like dreading to come on and play, because it was basically like work. Like I had to do this stuff to maintain my rank, or people were going to surpass me. But I didn't actually want to play anymore. And people like my brother were like, you're so dumb, why don't you just stop playing if you don't want to play anymore? And I was like, they have to take my title from me, I can't just surrender it to them. And he's like, you're an idiot. You know, I get a lot of people who think like this, but this is what Enneagram 8 is. We don't know how to surrender, we don't know how to submit. It's not in our nature. It's just not mentally, physically, emotionally, it's not possible for us. We can't. You can't break us. Maybe you could kill us or defeat us, but you can't break us. We will never submit, we will never surrender, we will never give up. It can't happen. This is how we are. It's just pure defiance. I get it sounds really dumb. I'm not disagreeing with you. It is dumb a lot of times, but that doesn't mean like we're mean people or aggressive people or we're assholes. That's not what it means. Like, because you could tell from my videos, like most of the time I'm way mellow. Like I really don't care a lot of times about pretty much anything. I'm just like, whatever will be will be. But when a challenge arises, when confrontation erupts, I will never back down, no matter the odds, no matter the circumstance. I literally can't. That's my nature. That's what an Enneagram is. Everybody, any one of you that's an Enneagram 8, you know what I'm talking about. There is no backing down. There's no way you can stop. And this is what it takes to be an Umbra, is what they're kind of implying. So real quick, for people that may be thinking like I'm boasting that I'm Enneagram 8 or whatever, like every Enneagram, just like every MBTI type and stuff like that, everyone has their strengths and everyone has their weaknesses. I'm not saying I'm better or I'm worse. Everyone has qualities they're good at and qualities they're bad at. I'm just using this as an example because this is exactly what it takes to be an Umbra by what lore is saying. Well, that and the techno sites, obviously. And if you guys don't remember, the Umbra were putting cryopods on Lua, unless I'm mistaken, and it's because they were basically uncontrollable. Sure, Enneagram 8s don't have to be highly aggressive and have to be mean and chaotic, yes, but if we lose everything else that makes us who we are except for that, our Enneagram 8, then we're gonna be just a chaotic maniac running around like Excalibur Umbra, of course. Or we'll be like Rhino in his lore, or we'll be like Chroma in his lore. Like we would just be running around like crazy animals, unyielding to anything. So of course the other Umbra, if there are other Umbra, and I'm sure they are, they're putting cryopods on Lua, unless I'm mistaken, like I said before, because they were uncontrollable. But the problem is Lua was compromised the moment that the stalkers stepped foot on it. So why are the Umbras still there? Because they could be used against us some way, somehow. You do not want a Archon Umbra chasing you or some shit like that. That would be too much. So why did we leave them there? And if you want my speculation, I don't think every single frame is made into an Umbra. I think the first few frames that ever existed were made into Umbra, and then they canceled that project, and then they started to make warframes the way they are now, which is just hollowed out empty shells because they're easier to use. So the newest frames that exist, unless they're saying that those new frames are actually rediscovered ancient frames, the chance of those being Umbra are unlikely from my point of view. So lore pretty much implies that the rest of the Umbra that exist should be sleeping in cryostasis on Lua, but I don't think that's the end of the story, because just like how Excalibur got out, I think other ones of them may be out there too. And I could point to a few things in the lore itself that's implying just what I'm saying. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but hear me out. In Mirage's story, when she's in danger of being killed, Lotus makes a huge deal about it, like she's about to lose Mirage forever. However, we've seen in the clip I'm gonna play where the stalker keeps killing warframe after warframe after warframe without any consequence. It doesn't matter because we're just gonna get a new frame. So who fucking cares if you killed this warframe? I don't care, I'm just gonna get this other warframe. If that was the same deal with Mirage, Lotus wouldn't have made such a big deal about it, but she did. So it makes me assume, was that Mirage in Umbra Mirage and she got destroyed? She's in pieces? Because why else would you make a big deal about it? Do you see what I'm trying to say? And you may say that Mirage didn't seem to be an Umbra because they weren't acting chaotic and stuff, but maybe it was an Umbra that was under the control of a Tenno. That's what I'm talking about. So other Umbra that may exist, obviously Rhino seems to be straight up an Umbra in his lore. Chroma seems to be an Umbra too. You may think it's just the Infested that's doing this to him, but no, I think he's an Umbra. I think he has his own consciousness, therefore he's an Umbra. There's probably other ones. Maybe Valkyrie's even an Umbra, I don't know, but as well as perhaps Limbo or other warframes that are just roaming around lore-wise without a Tenno in them. I don't know. But as far as I'm aware, the other ones may just be in cryostasis, unless they specifically say otherwise later in the story. They just may be all sleeping in cryostasis. I know some of you in the comments may hassle me and say like Excalibur Umbra only exists because the players wanted Excalibur Prime but we couldn't get it anymore, and that's why it exists and there won't be anymore. But I'm not talking about outside the game. Sure, that may be the reason why they made Excalibur Umbra in the first place. But now that you introduced Umbras into the game lore, now you made the potential for other Umbras to exist. And for it to stop there and not make any more Umbra would be a huge, like, blunder on Warframe's part. I don't think they would do that. I think they're going to make more Umbra. Like, it's inevitable. Like, even if they absolutely run out of ideas in Warframe to make new Warframes, you could just go back to the drawing board and make every single Warframe over again as an Umbra. Anyway, when new Umbra are introduced into the game, I don't think we should get all of them out of a cryopod. I think that would be kind of boring. And I don't think all of them should just be roaming around the galaxy, as that'll be repetitive too. I think they should mix it up and try different things, even some of them be captured and, you know, manipulated or something, turn into Archon or something. Different ones for different situations. I think it'll be pretty cool story wise. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think there's going to be more Umbra? Do you think I'm wrong? Did I make a mistake here in my lore somehow? And what other Warframes lore wise could possibly be Umbra? Which ones of them were roaming around the galaxy seemingly by themselves? They could possibly be an Umbra.